Testing. Testing. Same problem. Oh, wait, unmute, hold on. Testing.
So the mic still works.
Testing, testing.
So let's do this. Tatiana, talk in yours.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna put it here and we're gonna sit there.
Okay. Do you want me to?
Probably super technical,
huh? Testing, testing. Public comment. Yeah. Can you hear me? This is my public comment. Speaking
That
into the
works.
microphone. Okay.
Yay, thanks.
We have, we're not getting a loop.
Testing, testing.
Testing, testing.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear it over the speakers yet or no?
Again?
Yeah, test.
But it's echoing. Is it because it's, hold on. I'm not on here. Oh, it's because yours is on, huh? No?
I just have Zoom open. I'm sorry, YouTube, but it's not hearing me.
Too close to,
Might not be a drug. Something else.
we didn't have that earlier.
Habit, habit. Whether it's a habit or a drug or whatever. Test. All your creatures. Right.
We're testing audio, but we can't.
Well,
Too close. Too close to the. Go ahead and talk.
Less than I went.
Those mics aren't on.
Or second one again. Okay, yeah. That's today.
Can you talk?
I wonder if
Why didn't we have that issue?
sorry, keep on hearing you.
Go ahead with that.
That's in.
Yes. I don't know. Test. Test, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Test, test. Test. Is it still looping?
Mm-mm.
I think we're good. I raised.
No, I've heard them before.
We're gonna do the best we can.
Okay, sounds good.
And let's just pray that nobody wants to talk today.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's infinite.
You know, it was different circumstances. Today would be the day that the thing fills up and there's everybody wants to talk.
I know.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 3rd of October. And I'm keyed in on that date because that's my wedding anniversary, 42 years ago. But thank you to my wife this morning for putting up with me all those years. This is the Madera County Board of Supervisors meeting for October 3rd. And County Council, do we have any additions to the agenda?
Chairman, there are no additions to the agenda.
Okay. With that, we'll read closed session into the record.
Thank you. There are 3 items under your closed session today. One's under Government Code Section 54957.6. You have conference with your labor negotiators. Your designated representatives are Mr. Noriega, Mr. Begay, and Mrs. Carter. The employee organization are all units, including unrepresented employees, all classifications, but not elected officials. There are 2 existing litigation matters. You have conference with your legal counsel under 54956.9 subsection D1 of the Government Code. Both are Madera County Superior Court cases. One is County of Madera versus Highway 41 Properties. That's an eminent domain matter. And the other is Guadalupe Chavez Torres versus Hertz Vehicles LLC, MCV 0822354, and the other is 83624. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on the closed session items? Hearing none, seeing none online, we will retire to closed session.
Testing.
Okay, we're back from closed session. County Council, do we have anything to report from closed session?
Chairman, there are no reportable actions from your closed session.
Okay, are there anyone from the board that you would like to open and close in memory of?
Yes, I would,
Okay.
Chairman. I have a longtime friend and business partner who died on Saturday. His name's Chris Dodson. He was a great man. His brother lives here in Madera as well. But we go way back. He hired me when I was 19 years old, and we've been close friends ever since. In 2014, we co-founded a solar construction company, and we've been business partners up until the very last day. So I'd like to open and close in memory of Chris Dodson.
Thank you for that. Didn't know that. So sorry to hear that. Condolences to the family as well. Also included in that, as most of you probably are aware, United States Senator Dianne Feinstein passed away this last week. And Senator Feinstein, even though we were on opposite sides of the aisle in terms of politics and what have you, was a good friend of mine. And she was a very warm person. And Rob and I sat in front of her many times going to Washington, D.C. She always listened. She was an effective politician. I don't care what side of the aisle you're sitting on, you have to recognize success and effectiveness in a colleague. And so we honor her memory today, and open and close it also in memory of Dianne Feinstein, Senator of the United States. Anyone else? Any comments from the board? If not, we'll stand together at this time for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. And our scheduled pastor for this morning was Father John, and I don't see him in the audience this morning. So, Rob, would you
Yeah.
consider doing that for us? Thank you for being instant in season and out of season.
Good morning, everybody. And I did have a little heads up. So I decided I would share a scripture today. It's out of the Old Testament book of Micah. And it's in the sixth chapter. And I'm going to read verses 6 through 8. And what this is talking about, or there are things that we can do as people as far as certain actions, but God looks at the heart. So starting out with verse 6, it says, with what shall I come before the Lord and bow myself before God on high? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams and thousands of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? But he said, O man, what is good? And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. Let's pray. Father, we're thankful for this opportunity we can gather. We're ask that you would guide our decision-making. And Lord, we just ask that you would calm the hearts and bring peace to those who have lost loved ones recently. And Lord, that your will would be done. We ask in Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Whoops. Let's salute the flag of our great nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that this morning, Rob. That was really good. Do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. What a great concept. All right, let's go to the consent, public comment. I'm sorry, public comment.
Public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take any action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Tanya Say, Chief Information Officer. October is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, a dedicated month for the public and private sectors to work together to raise awareness about the importance of cybersecurity. This year's theme is Secure Our World 2023 and beyond. And the underlying theme is to take actions, individuals, we can all take actions every day to make modifications and changes that can increase our protection individually, as well as our organizations to protect ourselves online. Data is considered, it's coming up right now, data is considered the new oil. And since 2013, hackers strike oil every 44 seconds, meaning every 44 seconds, data is leaving someone's network and going into the hands of cyber criminals every 44 seconds. If ransomware is part of that breach at that time, it costs on average $945,000 per incident. As if the costs weren't enough to be of concern, there's also additional consequences, such as extended downtime. It can take an organization to be down weeks, sometimes months, to get back up and running. A tarnished reputation for us, it would be as the county, it would be loss of trust of our constituents. For a business such as MGM, who just recently faced a cyber attack, it's the loss of trust by customers. It's also the loss of critical infrastructure that provides services to constituents such as electricity and water and those type of things. So our plan is to bring information to the board and to the public throughout the month of October, little tidbits of information on what we can do to protect ourselves online. Security is one thing we all have to remember is that security is a journey. It's not a destination. I, as CIO, can never come up here and tell you the county is secure. There's no individuals that can ever say, oh, I'm secure online. It is a continuous journey that we will all be on. And we can focus on our securing our world 2023 and beyond by taking steps to make behavior modifications and changes and build better habits all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman of the Board.
Good morning.
Good morning, members of the board. Brian Rohde, Deputy CIO of Network and Security. And I'm here to continue the conversation of Cybersecurity Awareness Month and give some insight to the mindset of a hacker. And ultimately, we really want to understand why hackers do what they do. And mainly it's for financial gain, as you can see, 68%. And this is in the public sector vertical, specifically for these numbers. 30% are cyber warfare. So we talk about things like taking down the critical infrastructure, potentially cyber espionage, et cetera. And then a smaller percentage is for revenge in ideology, perhaps paying somebody to get back at someone or an organization for being wronged. So the typical behaviors of hackers is not as exciting as we want it to be. They typically take a scripted path of attack, and what they start with is social engineering. So what they're trying to do is find things about individuals that they can send targeted emails to gather your login information. They'll then take that login information and try to insert nefarious software onto a network and begin snooping. And once they snoop, really what they're trying to do is gain elevated privileges to take the network over and gain persistence without any of us knowing. Once this takes place, that's when they've got us. They then launch the hack software, and they do things like invoke the damage, where they launch denial of service attacks, data theft, ransomware, et cetera. So the $1 million question we have here is, what can we do to protect us? So we found this quick list, and we're using the acronym SHIELD. So use strong passwords, 14 characters minimum, and ultimately couple that with multi-factor authentication. Healthy downloads, don't just download whatever you want from the internet. Leverage IT to vet that software. Install updates and allow IT to perform scheduled maintenance to ultimately keep our network healthy. Educate yourself by taking cybersecurity awareness training. Limit sharing. And what we mean by that is be careful and cautious in what you share online. So don't just share everything on LinkedIn and on Facebook just because you can, and ultimately double check links before you click them. So by following this quick pathway, that greatly reduces our risk and risk for you as a personal individual. So as Tanya mentioned, October Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we will be back next week, and we're going to talk a little bit more about social engineering and give some more details in that area. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Forewarned is forearmed. Appreciate the information. I took a shot of that screen because that's good for personal information as well.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman Rogers, members of the board. Chris Childers, your Chief Probation Officer. I'm proud to announce this month is also a Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So most of you, as I can see, are already in dress mode for that. Supervisor Gonzalez, you look great in that pink blazer. What I'm proud to announce is that your 3 county law enforcement agencies are involved in a pink patch project, and each one of the agencies, which is the Sheriff's Department, the District Attorney's Office, and Probation Office, are selling uniform patches, badge holders, keychains, and such that are in pink. And the fundraising goes 100% to breast cancer patients that are being treated at the Breast Cancer Center at Clovis Community. So we expect the county support for this, and we have some folks here who are willing to talk about it. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Good morning, Sally Moreno, your district attorney. I'm here also to talk about the Pink Patch Project. We're selling these amazing T-shirts. It's got the logo on the front and the traditional flag on the back. I love these shirts. These are $25 a piece. We also have some bracelets and some patches. And as a department head, I'm going to encourage my staff when they don't have to be in court and on our casual Fridays to make sure they're wearing Pink Patch Project attire this season. And that's the way that I would like all the other department heads to join us in saying, when you're doing casual Friday, wear our county sponsored Pink Patch stuff this year. And I would like to put out our email address if you want to purchase this shirt or our wristbands or patches. If you email Marta Garcia, she's the only Marta in the county. So when you type M-A-R-T, she comes up, and tell her what you want and she'll get you squared away. And then I'm going to let these other people do their amazing presentation.
Save one of those shirts for me because I want one.
I got you. What size, Chairman?
Large.
You got it.
Thank you.
Good morning, Karina Valdez with the Madera Sheriff's Office. So we have actually been a part of the Pink Patch Project for 5 years now. We have a new set of patches. As you can see, it's on my uniform and everything. We will be selling ours throughout the month of October. You can get everything that we have, which is a patch, a star, a nice little ID badge, and a couple of coasters for $40 if you want everything. But we will be having them for the month of October. You can contact myself, Karina Valdez, or the executive assistant to the sheriff, Valerie Mole. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm Officer Barker with Madera County Probation. First of all, thank you for your time. The Pink Patch Project began in 2013 with the Seal Beach Police Department in Southern California. Today, there are several hundred partner agencies throughout the world. The Pink Patch Project made its way to the Central Valley 5 years ago, and there are currently 19 Central Valley agencies participating in it. Those included, like we said, are the Madera County Probation Department, the Madera County Sheriff's Department, the District Attorney's Office, as well as the Madera Police Department. In October, you'll see all of us proudly wearing our pink patches to raise money and awareness for breast cancer. In the Central Valley, we have raised more than $465,000 in the fight against breast cancer. This would not be possible without the support of our community in purchasing our pink patches. So please reach out to our agencies and let's continue the support against breast cancer and support again with the breast cancer patients, as well as the survivors, and in remembrance of those who lost their battle. 100% of your donations stay local and support patients at the Marjorie E. Radin Breast Care Center located at Clovis Community. Thank you
so much. I still have and wear regularly my Cal Fire pink patch shirt. So it's really, people often ask me about that and I can share with them, it's really important. I think of my wife has 2 colleagues who contracted breast cancer this last year. Both survived and are doing well, which is a great thing, but there's so many that don't. And we need to make people aware that getting checkups, regular checkups are so important because it could save your life. Just one little thing. And it's so important. Anyway, thank you.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Dexter Marr, Environmental Health. I wanted to bring attention to the board that the fork fire debris and hazard tree removal process started yesterday. So that's good news for us. It's been a long time waiting. The debris process would last about a week, and then after that, the hazard tree will come in. So we're anticipating about a 2-week time period before we are completed.
Are you talking about when you say forest debris, are you talking about the piles that were created by the cutting?
all the structures,
Right.
vehicles and debris. Yeah. So
Very
the
good.
ash and debris, and then also the hazardous trees that were affected, that were in the way of the cleanups, those will be removed as well.
Wow, that's excellent.
I did talk with a lot of the residents. They are appreciative of the county's efforts in this project, and they are excited, and they're ready and willing to start rebuilding.
Great.
And I plan to come back to the board in November to do a presentation.
Thank you very much, Dexter. Appreciate it. Any further public comment? Anyone online?
None online.
Okay, very good. So we'll move to consent calendar.
Chair,
Yes.
Members of the board, there is requests from staff to remove 2 items, not for discussion, just remove them to be returned to the board at a later date. And that's item 5J, a public health department item. J is in John. Thank you. And
Thank you.
item 5O, as in, let's go with octopus.
Okay,
Ocean.
there we go. So
Don,
5J and 5O will be removed from the consent calendar. Any items to be separately considered by supervisors? Any questions from supervisors? If not, we'll go to the public. Any public comment on the consent calendar? Hearing none. Anyone online?
None.
Bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
I'll move to approval.
Motion made, and I'll take Jordan Wamhoff, and I heard a second from over
I'm
here.
a second.
Okay, you're the second
And Chair, that's a motion with the items pulled.
with items J and O pulled from the calendar. Okay, thank you. Let's vote.
Supervisor Wamhoff,
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras,
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
6A.
6A, Human Resources Department, Probation Department, discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution amending the fiscal year 2023-2024 scheduled positions allocations within the probation department as follows. Number 1, add 3 full-time employee flexibly staffed department sheriff 1 and 2 positions. Add 1 full-time employee district attorney investigator position. Add 1 full-time employee sheriff sergeant's position.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Roman Noriega, Human Resources. I would like to note for the record, the item for your consideration to amend the position allocation within the probation department with an additional 5 FTEs has no impact on the general fund. The 5 positions are funded by the Community Corrections Partnership, or CCP, created under Senate Bill 678. And I have Chief Probation Officer Childers here to answer any operational questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions for the panel here? If not, I'll take it out to the public. Any public comment on this item? None. We'll bring it back to the board. What's your pleasure?
I'll move to approve.
Motion made.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley.
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Glad to see the tip of the spear still getting good support. 6B.
6B, Probation Department, second reading to adopt an ordinance amending section 3.33.020A of the Madera County Code, implementing the provision of AB 134 by repealing certain fees for criminal justice collection and cost recovery services.
Good morning, members of the board, Mr. Chairman. I have with me Sharon Sampoleschi, the manager for our Revenue Services Division, and she's here to answer any questions along with myself.
Are there any questions on this item? If not, we'll take it out to the public. Any public comment? None online? Bring it
None
back to the
online.
board for consideration. What's your pleasure?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made and
Sorry.
second. Let's vote.
Motion.
Motion
here.
Poitras,
And-
second by Gonzalez.
Thank you. Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhoff.
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley.
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
I'm going to take item 6C before we go to our hearings.
Sheriff's Corners Office, discussion and consideration of entering into an agreement with North Central Fire Protection District in the amount of $5,559 per year for antenna site lease for a 5-year term beginning June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2027, and authorize the chairman to sign.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This is essentially a sublease with North Central Fire to rent space in it's essentially a antenna repeater site on Owens Mountain near the Albury Range. We expect this to handle our better communication in the San Joaquin River drainage in the area of Tesoro and the ranchos.
Very good. Okay. Any questions from the board?
I have a
Yeah,
clarification.
go ahead.
So,
Sure.
why is it going back to June 1st, 2022?
I think that's essentially when we initially started the meetings with North Central, and there are multiple agencies involved in the contract, and that was the date that we selected to start. We have installed the equipment now. It's just we're expecting it to be operational sometime in the near future.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Any comment from the public? No one online?
No comments online.
Okay, bring back to the board. What's your pleasure?
Move for approval.
Motion made.
Second.
Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Item 7A of our public hearings.
Community and Economic Development Department, Planning Division, hearing to consider a request by Primo Realty to amend the general plan pursuant to section 65358 of the Government Code from a community commercial to a low density residential designation to allow conditional use permit 2022-011 from the installation of a 14-foot by 60-foot mobile home and approved negative declaration 2023-013 under the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act. This property is owned by Juarez Jose and is located on the southeast corner of Avenue 22 and a half and Hickory Street, 19574 Avenue 22 and a half. Chowchilla size is 0.6 acres. APN number 027-147-002.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jamie Bax with Community and Economic Development. And I also have Jacob Aragon here with me, a planner who processed this application. This is actually the first general plan amendment for the year. So again, this is a general plan amendment and a conditional use permit to change the designation from community commercial to residential to allow for the home to be placed on the property. Again, it is located on the southeast corner of Avenue 22 and a half in Hickory. It's actually in Fairmead, but the site address has it zip coded in Chowchilla. This is the general plan designation currently identifying it and the neighboring property as community commercial. The surrounding properties are all low density residential, which is the proposed designation for this site. The zone district is planned development district. That's the reason why we are processing this application, is because this zone district requires a conditional use permit for any type of use in that zone district, as long as it's consistent with the underlying general plan designation. This shows where the mobile home will be located. The access and driveway will be off of Hickory Street in Fairmead. And a site plan, or I'm sorry, a floor plan and an elevation plan of the proposed mobile home to be placed on the property. Just a brief analysis. Again, this is going from a community commercial proposal to a low density residential to allow for the manufactured home to be placed on the property. Access is taken off of Hickory Street. This was circulated to internal and external agencies for comment under CEQA guidelines. The only comments we received were internal departments. We did have a planning commission hearing on August 1st, 2023, where they voted in favor for one, recommending approval of the general plan amendment, conditional use permit, and negative declaration. And with that, staff is taking planning commission's recommendation to recommend approval of the project, and we're available for any questions.
I just have one question. Are they making it, putting it on a permanent foundation? Okay. Yeah, that would be the only thing, because I see a lot of mobile homes popping up without skirting, without any kind of foundation. And it just gives the area a bad look. And it, I don't mind people buying mobile homes and putting them in. That's a fine thing. It's a less expensive alternative than building a house, but it needs to conform with permanent structure type and seismic as well. They put in seismic jacks to retrofit. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah, go
is
ahead.
there any community outreach or feedback on this?
Yes, there was community outreach. We did notify all of the neighbors, actually within 500 feet and in the paper of local circulation prior to both planning commission and the board meetings. We did hear back from a neighbor prior to planning commission meeting, have smoothed out those questions. But before this meeting, there have been no concerns addressed to us.
Great, thank you.
One last question. We're requiring skirting on that.
Yes, that's a
Yeah.
normal process as part of the manufactured housing overlay.
I thought it was, but I just wanted to make sure because again, there's an appearance factor here. And it needs to look like housing, not temporary circumstance. So thank you. Do we require that on all mobile home?
It's not required throughout the county. We can require it in all an overlying MHA overlay zones. So
Yeah.
where it's required, it's an architectural standard that we have. So it's skirting and a
Right.
12-inch eave overhang that we require as we see the building permits come
Right.
in.
I think that would be an important component of maybe a requirement of that in the future, especially when they're not in a mobile home park. And in the mobile home park, they're going to require it anyway. But outside of mobile home park, we need to, and it's not that much more of an expense. It just gives it a better appearance to the region and when it's done that way. So thank you. Okay, any further questions or comments? If not, I'll take it out to the general public. This is a public hearing. So I'm opening the public hearing for public comment at this time. Any public for or against, doesn't matter. Last going on. Okay, none online?
None online?
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the board. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve.
Motion made.
And I'll second.
Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Supervisor Wamhaugh.
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley.
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay, great. And item 7B.
Community and Economic Development Department, Planning Division, hearing to adopt a resolution to permit establishments of agricultural preserves of less than 100 acres, Ag Preserve number 1750, 1751, 1752, and Farmland Security Zone number 299.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Jamie Bax, Community and Economic Development. So before you is our annual Ag Preserve application list. This is actually what's referred to as the defect list. So anybody that is less than 100 acres, anybody who needs to potentially rezone their property, that's why we are here before you today. And this stems from Government Code 51230, where Ag Preserve should be 100 acres, but with additional consideration, if your board allows, we can move forward with those that are less than 100 acres. And those were identified on your defect list attached to the board packet. So I'm briefly going to go through those parcels, majority on the valley floor. You can see here they're prime ag land, Road 29 and Avenue 20.5. We do have some foothill grazing areas that are surrounded by already contracted lands. And the next one as well off of 41, but all surrounded in all directions by already contracted lands. This is another valley floor item where you can see contracted lands in the area as well. And that's a farmland security zone and that's prime soil. So with that, if your board recommends approval, we will bring back these applications and contracts later on this year in December for additional actions. But at this time, we're just requesting those that are less than 100 acres to move forward, and we're available for any questions.
Any questions?
I have one, Chairman.
Go ahead.
And just to ease the mind of some people in the public, this is a county prerogative. Is that correct? This isn't a violation of any Department of conservation regulations or anything like that, correct?
Absolutely correct.
Just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Any other comments from the board? Not, I'll take that. This is a public hearing. I'll take this item out to the public. Do you have any comment for or against? Hearing none. Anyone online?
No comments online.
Going, gone. Okay, and I am closing the public hearing, bringing it back to the board. What is the pleasure of the board?
I will move to approve.
Second. Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras.
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Chairman Rogers.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. That deals with all of our public hearing items, which are quasi judicial role. Interesting difference between our regular stuff as a board of supervisors and serving in that quasi judicial role, actually taking testimony from the public and making a determination based on certain facts. It's an interesting thought. Learned that some time ago when we first joined the board. The difference. Pending legislation. Do we have any pending legislation?
No, but the governor does bear daily watching what he signs and what he vetoes. The most important one recently that he vetoed was the one related to unemployment for workers who were striking. I believe his logic there was that EDD was already $20 billion in the red, so the money wasn't available. So I would assume that you would probably see that that type of legislation come up again in the future, especially when the state budget is more healthy.
Right. Plus the fact that it's a little voluntary there. Okay. All right. So any supervisors and staff reports? Let's go back to Supervisor McCauley.
Nothing to report. I'd just like to give some accolades for our staff in terms of the activities of last week. We had our retreat for management and administration and the board earlier in last week, and then our San Joaquin Valley councils or county governments meeting later in the week. And there's a lot of work that was put together by our administration, by Melissa Da Silva, by Carla, by others. And you guys just did a fantastic job. We heard nothing but great reports of content and coordination. So thank you all for your outstanding efforts. And I just like to mention the administration has been saddled with certain issues that typical county administrations are not saddled with in terms of, in this particular case, it would be the hospital. So that's been an additional issue that they've had to deal with. So on top of everything else, it's remarkable, the effort. And anyway, I just wanted to express my gratitude for the great job. And I'd also like to recognize another chief of staff, Nick Salinas. I think that's how you say your name. And Nick is the leader of the Madera Old Timers Parade and has helped coordinate that. And he was there again on Saturday, running up and down the street, ensuring that people were being taken care of and the parade was being coordinated along with Rotarians and the other participants. I just like to thank Nick for his great job and effort out there. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to report on the two meetings we had this last week. Just really, also, I forgot, I don't know if I reported that I attended RCRC. I think I did. But the meetings we had this last week were just outstanding and largely due to the effort of our own staff. I just want to thank each one of you that put effort into that. And I know all the chiefs of staff did, as well as Yvette Gomez, and then of course our Jay Varney, our administrator. And it was just super productive. I thought the goal setting, was really well. I think we accomplished some great things anyway, and it was good to get through the climb on section of the program. And I want to thank Matt Skolnick, who provided the PowerPoint on that. And I thought that everybody seemed to really enjoy the program and the intent behind it. And the whole week was really, really good. The San Joaquin Valley Coalition of counties and supervisors, everybody just raved about Madera County and the event, and they really, really enjoyed it. I saw several of the supervisors making reservations for future coming up to Bass Lake because they thought it was just a jewel and they really enjoyed it. So thank you, everybody, for the effort you put in. Jordan?
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I mean, everyone from last week that I talked to was just so impressed with how it was all put together. So I really want to thank you guys, Carla, Melissa, Yvette, Jay, and administrators, and all those who are involved in putting that together, because I was looking, taking a couple steps back, and a lot of people don't realize how much work actually goes into all those little details, and they executed it flawlessly. So thank you guys so much. I think it was a great event where everyone could get together and share experiences amongst the counties and with the management workshop as well. I attended the Old Timers Parade for the very first time. Never been to one.
Wow.
And so Nick Salinas, great job. I brought the rain apparently, but I got to ride in the big red vehicles with the real heroes. So in the parade. That's a joke. It's a joke. But they do get to sleep on the job. That is a perk of the job. I just want everyone to know that. Police get fired for sleeping on the job, but firefighters, they do get to sleep. So, but all in jest, but I had a great time last week, and I just want to thank staff again. So.
Yeah, I'll just echo the sentiments of the supervisors regarding the conference and the management workshop. I want to thank Jay. I may have been a little overly, I don't even know what word we want to use on the dais, but I do want to thank him for taking the input and all those fine little touches that the staff brought. I thought was fairly important. And we really did showcase Madera County. And I also participated on Friday at the employee lunch in the park to appreciate the city and county employees. It's always a great time of year to get to connect with all the staff. So Rob and I got fired from the assembly line. I guess we were holding up the line, but that's always fun to participate.
I think it was when I started throwing apples at people or something. I don't know.
But
one of the play part of our activity was just at the very end of everything with the San Joaquin Valley Water, or the San Joaquin Association, was that we got to tour the lake. And big shout out to Chris Williams, Deputy Williams, who led our boat, and I know there were others who staffed boats to take people around, but he just made it super fun for everybody. And they were just like, by the end of the deal, they were just like, this guy he's awesome. So we had a great time. It was really a wonderful showcasing of our county, and people really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Chair, just real quick, for a point of clarification for the public, talked a lot about some good times out at the lake, and I just want to reiterate that the San Joaquin Association of Counties Conference was not a county expense. That was paid for through CSAC, and I believe they're nonprofit. It's an affiliate there. So I just want to make sure the public's aware that we're not out there driving boats around the lake on the county's dime. So
living in Bass Lake for a week at county expense. That's not it. Not it at all. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. That's important for people to know. Jay?
Thank you for the kind words about the two conferences. I wasn't able to attend the lunch in the park. I was on a Zoom call with Senator Caballero, and it was with the CAOs from her area that she represents, just to kind of give her a heads up on what we're going to be looking for in funding going into the 24, 25, I guess, timeframe. And so I just wanted to reach out to her and make sure that she knew that we wanted our transportation funding protected, that we would need money to help support Care Court and course, the ongoing efforts related to anything to the hospital. But it was a very productive call, and we're going to have another one close to the beginning of the new year to kind of solidify what those financial focuses are on behalf of the county.
Thank you. County Council.
No report, Chair. Just a reminder that you do have an in-home social services meeting at 1:30 today.
Oh, 1:30 today. Didn't know about that.
Correct? It's on the.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I didn't have that on my calendar. Clerk, anything to report?
Nothing to report. I'll see you at 1:30.
Okay. With that, this meeting will be adjourned.
Ready? Got it. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to a regular meeting of the Madera County In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority. Today is Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. The matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. And we'll move the consent calendar. Are there any items in the consent calendar, all one of them, that anybody'd like to have pulled for further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, any members of the public have any comments regarding consent calendar? If not, I'll accept a motion for action.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wamhaugh,
Yes.
Supervisor McCauley,
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras,
Yes,
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes.
thank
Chairman.
you.
Vote passes 4-0.
Beautiful. Are there any additions to the agenda?
No additions.
Very good. And we'll move on to public comment. As a reminder, the first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take any action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the board? Anybody online?
None online.
Okay, very good. So we will now move on to item number 4, closed session. In council, would you read in the item?
Yes, Chair, members of the board, under conference with labor negotiators, Government Code Section 54957.6, your county designated negotiators are Director Deborah Martinez and legal counsel Stephen Mendick. Thank you.
Very good. We'll move into closed session and report out any action. Thank you. Is there any public comment on the closed session item? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move to closed session. Thank you. All right, we're back from our closed session for the In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority. Council, is there any action that needs to be reported out?
Chairman, there was no reportable action from your closed session.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. And at this time, we'll adjourn. Everybody have a great rest of the day.